14. Ahura Mazda answered, "The place in that house whereof the ground is the cleanest and the driest, and the least passed through by flocks and herds, by fire, the son of Ahura Mazda, by the consecrated bundles of Berisma, and by the faithful." Now, they don't mean the whole Son of God thing literally, of course. As we've learned elsewhere, it's, the becoming, the knower, the pious representative. 16. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, how far from the fire, how far from the water, how far from the consecrated bundles of Berisma, how far from the faithful. 17. Ahura Mazda answered, 30 paces from the fire, 30 paces from the water, 30 paces from the consecrated bundles of Berisma, 3 paces from the faithful. 18. On that place they shall dig a grave, half a foot deep, if the earth be hard, half the height of a man, if it be soft. They shall cover the surface of the grave with ashes or cow dung. They shall cover the surface of it with the dust of bricks, of stones, or of dry earth. In the similar case, it is prescribed to isolate the corpse in a permanent dead house, the Zad Marg. The rule prescribed here seems to be older, is now obsolete. It was, besides, less convenient. The master and mistress of the house are carried away through the breach, meaning the wall of the house, others through the door. In some parts of Germany, the dead must not be carried away through the usual house door, as the dead and the living must not pass through the same door. 21. And they shall let the lifeless body lie there for 2 nights, or 3 nights, or a month long, until the birds begin to fly, the plants to grow, the floods to flow, and the wind to dry up the waters from off the earth. 23. And when the birds begin to fly, the plants to grow, the floods to flow, and the wind to dry up the waters from off the earth, then the worshippers of Mazda shall make a breach in the wall of the house, and they shall call for 2 men, strong and skillful, and those having stripped their clothes off shall take the body to the building of clay, stones, and mortar, raised on a place where they know there are always corpse-eating dogs and corpse-eating birds. 29. Afterwards, the corpse-bearers shall sit down 3 paces from the dead. Then let the holy Ratu shall proclaim to the worshippers of Mazda thus: let the worshippers of Mazda here bring the urine, wherewith the corpse-bearers there shall wash their hair and their bodies. So glad we have shampoo and stuff now. When back in the village, they performed the regular Barashnum with the consecrated Gomez. But it's not just any urine either, so the priest who directs the funerals does such with the mortar. And the naked to the the building of clay, stones, and mortar is the Dakma. And the house. The corpse bearers are Nasu Kasha. The corpse must be carried by 2 persons, no matter who they are. They may be a man and a woman, or 2 women. and clothes are exchanged for the Dakma clothes. Gama'e Dakma. 51. Wait, no. 32. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, which is the urine wherewith the corpse bearers shall wash their hair and their bodies? Is it of sheep or of oxen? Is it of man or of woman? 35. Ahura Mazda answered, It is of sheep or of oxen, not of man nor of woman, except these two, the nearest kinsman of the dead, are his nearest kinswoman. The worshippers of Mazda shall therefore procure the urine wherewith the corpse bearers shall wash their hair and their bodies. 3 compromises what is being called here: 38, 40, 41, 45, 47, 49, 52, 60, and 63. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, can the way whereon the carcasses of dogs or corpses of men have been carried be passed through again by flocks and herds, by men and women, by fire? The son of Ahura Mazda, by the consecrated bundles of Beresma, and by the faithful. 40. Ahura Mazda answered, It cannot be passed through again by flocks and herds, nor by men and women, nor by fire, the son of Ahura Mazda, nor by the consecrated bundles of Beresma, nor by the faithful. And you can say something belonging to God, just like all those El and Yah ending names that you hear in the Bible and stuff. It's not God of this or that sort of thing. It's belonging to. And if it's denoting a relationship, again, it's not that God has children or any of this stuff. But a lot of English-speaking people won't get that, I guess. So, 41. You shall therefore cause the yellow dog with 4 eyes, or the white dog with yellow ears, to go 3 times through that way. When either the yellow dog with 4 eyes or the white dog with yellow ears is brought there, then the Drognasu flies away to the regions of the north in the shape of a raging fly, with knees and tail sticking out, all stained with stains, and like unto the foulest crafstras. 3 times suffice if the dog goes of its own accord. If he goes by force, it counts as nothing. If he goes but with reluctance, that shall suffice. Afrag says the dog goes straight along the length of the way. Ma'idyo Ma says he goes across it from side to side. 45. If the dog goes unwillingly, they shall use the yellow dog with the 4 eyes, or the white dog with the yellow ears, to go 6 times through that way. When either the yellow dog with 4 eyes or the white dog with yellow ears is brought there, and the Drugnasu flies away to the regions of the north, in the shape of a raging fly, with knees and tail sticking out, all stained with stains, and like unto the foulest craftstra. A prayer in frequent use and considered of great efficacy, generally known as the Ahuna Va'eria or Hanaver. It was by reciting it that Ormazd, in his first conflict with Ahriman, drove him back to hell, according to Vendidad 1. And apparently, I'm going to have more in the future of text to share, which I thought I was running dry in this subject, but Well, I mean, a couple more months from, but 47. If the dog goes unwillingly, they shall cause the yellow dog with 4 eyes or the white dog with yellow ears to go 9 times through that way. When either the yellow dog with 4 eyes or the white dog with yellow ears has been brought there, then the Duruganasu flies away to the regions of the north in the shape of a raging fly, with the knees and tail sticking out, all stained with stains, and like unto the foulest Kratstras. 49. And Atravan shall go first along the way, and shall say aloud these fiend-smiting words: Yatha ahu ba'iryo. The will of the Lord is the law of holiness. The riches of Bahomanu shall be given to him who works in the world for Mazda, and wields according to the will of Ahura, the power he gave him to relieve the poor. Well, okay, so the whole chapter then. And a paradise as Bahu Mano Gadat is the doorkeeper of heaven. When Ahriman broke into the world, he was repelled by the Attar and Bahu Mano. And Sarasha fights for the soul of the good after death. Kemna Mazda and Ke Verethem Ga are lines taken from the Gathas and diverted from their primitive meaning to suit the present cases. Okay. 52. Kemna Mazda, whom hast thou placed to protect me, O Mazda, while the hate of the fiend is grasping me, whom but thy Attar and Bahu Mano, by whose work the holy word goes out, revealed to me the rules of thy law. Ke Verethrem Ga, who is he who will smite the fiend in order to maintain thine ordinances? Teach me clearly thy rules for this world and the next, that Sra'asha may come with Vohu Mano and help whomsoever thou pleasest. 60. Keep us from our hater, O Mazda, and Armaete Spenta. Perish, O fiendish Droog. Perish, O brood of the fiend. Perish, O world of the fiend. Perish away, O Droog. Rush away, O Droog. Perish away, O Droog. Perish away to the regions of the north, never more to give unto death the living world of the Holy Spirit. 63. Then the worshippers of Mazda may, at their will, bring by those ways sheep and oxen, men and women, and fire. The son of Ahura Mazda are the consecrated bundles of Erisma, and the faithful, the worshippers of Mazda, may afterwards prepare meals with meat and wine in that house. It shall be clean, and there will be no sin as before. And see, the worship is of Mazda, not any of these things that are used in worship, or no matter how respected they are. The 4th day, 3 days and nights after the death, it is forbidden to cook meat in the house. I'd say after, I mean on. 4 is listed here with the numbers given 65, 68, and 71. 65. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw clothes either of skin or of woven upon a dead body enough to cover the feet, what is the penalty that he shall pay? Ahura answered, 400 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 400 stripes with the Sra Asho Karana. 68. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw clothes, either of skin or woven, upon a dead body, enough to cover both legs, what is the penalty that he shall pay? Ahura answered, 600 stripes with the Aspaha Astara, 600 stripes with the Sra Osho Karana. 71. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw clothes, either of skin or woven, upon a dead body, enough to cover the whole body, what is the penalty that he shall pay? Ahura answered, 1,000 stripes with the Aspaha Astara, 1,000 stripes with the Strasho Karana. Part 5 compromises what is called here 74, 77, 83, 88, 95, 98, 102. 74. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man involuntarily emits his seed, what is the penalty that he shall pay? Ahura answered, 800 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 800 stripes with the Sra Osho Karana. Nocturnal emissions and involuntary paying a fee for that? That's messed. 77. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man voluntarily admits his seed, what is the penalty for it? What is the atonement for it? What is the cleansing from it? Ahura answered, for that deed there is nothing that can pay, nothing that can atone, nothing that can cleanse from it. It is a trespass for which there is no atonement, forever and ever. Okay, just when a person thinks they can masturbate and avoid the penalty, that's considered worse. The 83. When is it so? It is so if the sinner be a professor of the law of Mazda, R, one who has been taught in it. But if he be not a professor of the law of Mazda, nor one who has been taught in it, then this law of Mazda takes his sin from him. If he confesses it and resolves never to commit again such forbidden deeds, well, certainly one. But the duration that a person has to a duration that people would have to go to their spouses in between, to make sure this never happens. That would vary. Some people might, the post-childbirth waiting period's a bit long, and sometimes even the menstrual period is too long. 88. The law of Mazda indeed, O Spitama Zarathustra, takes away from him who confesses it the bonds of his sin, and takes away the sin of breach of trust. It takes away the sin of murdering one of the faithful. It takes away the sin of burying a corpse. It takes away the sin of deeds for which there is no atonement. It takes away the heaviest penalties of sin. It takes away any sin that may be sinned. 95. In the same way, the law of Mazda, O Spitama Zarathustra, cleanses the faithful from every evil thought, word, and deed, as a swift, rushing, mighty wind cleanses the plain. So let all the deeds that thou doest be henceforth good, O Zarathustra. A full atonement for thy sin is effected by means of the law of Mazda. The text has a vispo da'eva, a curious expression which comes from the time when da'eva still meant a god. Well, people worship these male and female entities, like the fairy, the Yazata, in the time of the Indo-Iranian, nay, as early as the time of the Indo-European religion, it was the custom, besides special invocations to the several entities, to address one to all the entities for fear of the resentment of those who might have been forgotten or ignored. Thus the Greeks never failed to invoke all whom they considered to be male and female goddesses. Theois, Pasi, Kai, Pasais. In the same way, the Indian invoked Visve Devas, all the angels, in which course of time gave rise to a special class of entities. Hence, in Mazdaism, or was a class of fiends, the Vispe Deva, but tradition lost the meaning of the word, and the Vispo Deva became one who was entirely a Deva by his wickedness. Well, if we're talking monotheism, we're going to, worshiping other than God becomes the greatest offense. That doesn't mean that, murder and stuff is, actually still considered more serious, but, 98. O maker of the material world, thou only one, who is the man that is a Da'eva. Who is he that is a worshipper of the Da'eva? That is a male paramour of the Da'evas. That is a female paramour of the Da'evas. That is the she Da'eva. That is in his inmost self a Da'eva. That is in his whole being a Da'eva. Who is he that is a Da'eva before he dies and becomes one of the unseen Da'evas after death? Well, our bodies tell who we are, but demons. So it's given here a meaning as Shiatin. But let's remember that Avestan and some other languages are the same as Sanskrit, so it's not that they change, it's that in this language, they have similar roots, but it's bad in this language and good in this language, so don't play etymology games if you don't know what you're talking about. Don't just, this sounds like this, and this is, so this word back in here comes from a root that means this, so therefore, not necessarily, 102, Ahura answered, the man that lies with mankind as man lies with womankind, or as woman lies with mankind, is the man that is a Da'eva. The one is the man that is a worshipper of the Da'evas. That is a male paramour of the Da'evas. That is a female paramour of the Da'eva. That is a she Da'eva. This is the man that is in his inmost self a Da'eva. That is in his whole being a Da'eva. This is the man that is a Da'eva before he dies and becomes one of the unseen Da'evas after death. So is he, whether he has lain with mankind or as womankind. Now, it may be more common, but let's not pretend that, these people are the same as, the certain criminal behaviors and predatory or otherwise, pride and stuff like this aren't guarantees with the homosexuals. So we're not making that claim with that. Demons are often the restless souls of the wicked, excluded from heaven. The Persian sect of the Mahabhadians believed that the soul that had not spoken and done good became an Ahriman or Gin, Devastan. Now, I'm pronouncing all these G's as Ga because is J's and stuff, so, but not all languages have the J sound. The guilty may be killed by any one without an order from the Dastur, and by this execution an ordinary capital crime may be redeemed. The principle still prevails even with the Muslim Persians. And we have a bunch of French here, so